everybody. What's up? OCD Mikey here for another episode of The Mikey Show. And I am here at Generation Now, which is a high-end recording studio. And I'm here with Dave Malkapur, you'll see in a second, who is the T.A.D importer. And as you know, I've got the T.A.D line. You've seen it on my channel. And this is what's done on a professional level. Okay, so this is actually in a studio where the music is made. So this is where it all begins, okay? And so the music in here and the speakers and the whole room must be extremely dialed in order to make recordings and make music, because you can't do it if you've got a bump here and a suck out there. You need to dial these rooms in. And so it is extremely accurate music reproduction and music for recording and mastering and so forth. So I'm going to see the rig. We're in one of the, is this a mixing room?
Yeah, this is primarily a mixing room and an overdub suite.
Here's Dave.
Hey, this is Dave Malkapur with T.A.D Hi-Fi, Pro Audio Design, AUGSPURGER monitors, Malkapur Design Partners. We have a bunch of different companies that handle both the Pro Audio business and the Hi-Fi business.
Cool.
And as Mikey was so kind to introduce me as the T.A.D distributor, we're really proud to bring T.A.D to the U.S. again. And I've been working with T.A.D for over 25 years in our professional speakers.
That's right.
The AUGSPURGers. That's how I got to connect with them originally. And, you know, I was here in Atlanta. I figured, Mike, why don't you come down and check out what we do?
Yeah, I'm glad you
and
called.
The studio side.
Yep.
And later on, I'm going to go over Mikey's and we're going to listen to the CE1TXs at his spot.
Yeah, man.
And, you know, it'd be interesting to kind of understand from a studio perspective how your listening room is set up. So that's kind of one of my missions, is to uncover, you know, what relates to a professional mixing curve versus a listening curve that people love to listen to music on. But here in the studio, what's so important, as Mikey just pointed out, is that the balance in the room is accurate. So when the mix engineer and the producer and the artist are hearing it, it's what's going to translate to your stereo at home or your car, your earbuds. Yep. And actually they do a lot of different things along the way to make sure of that. You'll see the speakers in the wall are AUGSPURGER. That's a Duo 12 V system. It's got two 12-inch mid-range drivers, a maple horn that's 16 by 9. It has it's actually made out of solid maple that we carve in our wood shop on a big CNC machine. Even the fins are hard maple. And behind that is a 4-inch beryllium diaphragm in a compression driver that's made for us. And in some instances, we use the T.A.D 4001. These particular ones use the AUGSPURGER components.
Okay.
And there's an 18-inch subwoofer down below that you don't really see, but
yeah, we can see them right over there. That's the 18-inch sub in a little cave there.
We'll feel them in a minute.
We'll feel them.
And then our amplifiers are DSP driven, which allows us to have a digitally controlled crossover equalizer.
Okay, so here's the amplifiers.
The amps are driven by a proprietary piece of software called DSP Tune that we developed.
So they have their own software, DSP Tune, which is what we're seeing right here, right?
Right, and so in DSP Tune, we start off here with the mixer layer, and you have 4 inputs. You have 2 analog inputs and 2 AES inputs, and then these are the 3 amp output channels. So this is literally the volume or the gain that I've got for each band, so I can level off the amps so that they give me the best response. And what we're looking at here is an untuned frequency response and a phase curve. This is representing the phase shape.
Interesting.
And that's actually a very detailed version.
So for you guys, is this 20 to 20, this span here?
Yeah, this goes a little below 20 to about 18K in our view now. I can expand that a little bit.
So again, you guys, this is the listening range, essentially. You can see it falls off a little bit short of 18K, and these are, and what Dave's going to do, if I'm not mistaken, is try and flatten this.
Right, so our target for what, in a recording studio and even in a listening room, we need a little bit more low frequency information because of the Fletcher Mention curve, which is how our ear perceives amplitude response at different frequencies. So we hear, we need more low frequency than we do mid frequency, and high frequency need a little less.
So do you have a plus or minus like 3 dB spec?
I do.
Or what's your spec?
So like the way that we would achieve a very flat balance would be about 3 dB down from, I should say, a 3 dB increase from about 100 to 120, depending how the room is speaking, down to that 20 hertz range. So we want to elevate that range.
Yep.
And then we want it as flat as humanly possible.
Through the mids. Yeah.
From 100 hertz to 10K.
Yep.
And then from 10K to 20K, we want it to have a natural roll-off. Because especially with these systems that get the potential of the system's 129 dB, which is insane, particularly with the low frequency. But in this particular studio, they're mixing hip-hop music, pop music, urban music. They do some other types of pop music as well, but they're known for artists like Cardi B, Little Uzi Vert, a complete genre away from most audiophiles. So if you're in Mikey's world,
it's the bump and rig. But
we will put on some Joman Armor Trading. I will play some Steely Dan and some things. I play across every spectrum when I'm tuning a room because I don't want this room to just be good for one genre. I want it to be able to play all music.
I get it.
And translate to the outside world.
Get it.
So for production, we tend to want 6 dB more in the low end.
Okay.
So what most engineers know when they're in a room like this is that when they go up to the bigs, which is what they call these large in-wall speakers.
So these are the bigs. The smalls would be the near-field monitors, the focals on their side.
That's right. So these focals are the near-field, which when they're doing things like cutting a vocal or doing like some basic little mixing and they want to listen at a low level and really hear detail, they'll go there. When they want to get that inspiration and a more involved performance type of vibe, they get up to the big speakers.
Got you.
There is a little ISO booth here, so when they're cutting a vocal, they also don't want to have so much gain in the room that it leaks into the booth.
Of course.
So it's really...
the vocal booth is back over here, and this is a sound lock.
That's right.
So you got in here is a vocal booth, and you come in here. If I were to clap in here, it would be dead. That's how these things work, man.
It's pretty dead, but it's also...
It's got a little bit of reflection we can see.
It's got some warmth to it. It's the kind of room that a singer would go into. And
there's the Neumann.
But
remember Neumann.
There you go.
Hey, I'm going to show him something because this is going to be...
Almost in every studio.
Yeah, you're going to see Neumann soon in Mikey's room. All right, guys.
So I think the point of a studio is to give an artist an experience when they're listening, and what the AUGSPURGERs do is give you like almost a performance level experience when listening, and it's full range and it's very accurate. And in a studio, we tend to show all of the warts. So if something's not good sounding, it's because it wasn't well recorded.
There you go.
And so that makes the engineer work harder, and it makes them keep going until they go, oh, the vocal sounds killer, or it's not hitting me too hard, or it's not harsh, or the guitar is not too bright, or the bass line's not sticking out over the vocal, and all these different decisions that are made at the recording level. And I've been fortunate to be in the back of a lot of interesting recordings of all kinds of music, and also I'm a recording engineer myself.
Great.
And having recorded so much music, like one of the things that people don't realize when they're listening is the level of intensity that goes into those little decisions. And if you move the bass guitar up a half a dB, the vocal could go down.
Sure.
And so this originally called balancing engineer because it's a balance between all the sounds. Today we have these incredible tools in the computer that allow us to do all kinds of shaping and sculpting, change the room vibe, change even the emphasis, the timing, the tuning of it, the speed, even the diction and how the singer's words came together and the timing of that. So every bit of that is being looked at in a studio. That when we hear a record, we don't think of all that. We just think like they must have just gone in there and played that song. It's not how it is.
No,
it's crafted. This tool allows the producer, when we have that extra bit of bass, they get an experience like they're almost if you're making a song for a club.
Yep.
Hearing it on a system that can represent it with club levels and feeling, but
it's necessary. Yep,
is giving you something. If the singer's, a performance-oriented track, and when the singer comes out and hears their voice as if they're performing it, it's a different experience than just putting it in earbuds.
Sure.
And especially when you're creating a drum track or you're creating something that's got to move you, like the programmer wants to feel that. So it's not just hearing it; it's experiencing it.
So you can get the emotion too.
That's
yeah,
right. And I think that's what AUGSPURGER's been famous for, is creating that in the studio, and that's why they're in 1,000 of the top studios and with some of the greatest artists of all time.
There you go, man.
You know, we've done systems from Tony Bennett's studio to Snoop's studio to Coldplay and Weeknd.
That's great.
Mark Batson and producers like Paul Epworth have our systems and our amps powering his system. There's just a ton of interesting all around the world users from China and Finland, and I've just traveled the world tuning these things. So what people don't realize too is that a speaker is actually an incredible way to judge the amplifier you've got.
Yes, for sure. And it's the window to the amplifier if you have an accurate speaker, right?
Yeah, and these T.A.D CU1s are very incredible speakers.
Yeah,
they're very truth telling, and they're also musical in a beautiful way.
Yep.
And I've played them now on about 5 different amps that I've had the chance to plug them into, and
wait till you hear them on. Have you heard them on Viola Labs yet?
I have not.
Oh, dude, wait till you hear them at my crib.
I want to come out and hear it. I can't resist.
Oh, it's good, man.
Thanks so much, man.
You bet, brother. I'm ready, man.
Right,
We're strapping in.